Hi, I'm Paul, and in today's video, I'll show you how I visually brainstorm 8 of my best book ideas using Obsidian and the Excalidraw plugin. If you're an Obsidian user looking to make your notes more engaging and spark creativity, this video is for you. We'll dive into some simple yet effective workflows for brainstorming and visualizing your notes. This won't be an in-depth Excalidraw tutorial, but I hope it inspires you to experiment with visual note-taking and unlock creativity in your own Obsidian vault. Join me as we start creating visually appealing notes in Obsidian. One thing I like to do in Obsidian on my downtime is go through my book notes and review my best ideas and tools. And recently I did that for the book A Mind for Numbers by Barbara Oakley. So this book is designed for high school students struggling with maths and science, college students fulfilling math or science requirements, adult learners looking to retool for better career opportunities, or anyone seeking to improve their learning skills in challenging subjects. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how to visualize your ideas from a book note using the Excalidraw plugin. So we'll start here from our first idea and then we'll head down to the 8th idea, and we're going to build them out with some visual images. So the first thing you need to do is you need to jump into community plugins, and I want you to go click on Excalidraw. It should be the #1 plugin for Obsidian. Go ahead and install and enable if you haven't got this plugin installed already. Then you're going to see a little create new drawing icon on your ribbon to the left-hand side. So what we're going to do is we're going to come into our best idea here, A Mind for Numbers. And to give ourselves a little bit more space, I'm going to hide the left and the right pane. I can see here that I've got my little quote here up the top with some reflections on A Mind for Numbers. Then I've got a little summary down the bottom here of what the book is about. These notes are quite useful, but I just want a quick way to visualize this best idea without having to read everything on the page. So I'm going to use Excalidraw in order to give myself a quick visual cue of what this idea is about. So I'll go ahead and I'll select Create New Drawing. Now that's going to create a new drawing on the right-hand side. If I jump into my Obsidian settings and navigate down to Excalidraw, if we open up the basic tab there, we can see where the default location for our Excalidraw drawings are. In my case, it's in my Spaces Excalidraw folder. So that's where I like to place my drawings. What I also like to do is I do like working in stack tabs, which is the mode that I'm in right now, but sometimes I like to just toggle the stack tabs and then click and drag my drawing to the right-hand side, click the middle bar and move it over to the left-hand side. And that's going to give me a little bit more room to work with. So I start off usually with some text. So I'll give this one a title, Mind for Numbers. Then you can click the text and make it a little bit bigger. Then you can either select and Control-C, Control-V to copy. And I'm going to put the author in there. I can resize that and make it a little bit smaller. So now I have a nice little title. So because it's related to the mind, I'm going to use some PNG images that I got from a free PNG website. So this could be a website such as FreePic. Type in what you're looking for. In this case, we're looking for a brain. And then it's going to give you a whole bunch of free PNGs to download. So it's really just a matter of picking one that you think will work with your note. And I like to do this on a second monitor so that I've always got Obsidian on my primary monitor, and then I can search for PNG images on my second monitor. Once I've found the PNG image that I'm looking for, I can place it inside my images folder under Toolkit Images. And you could put it in a PNG folder inside there. You could just drop it in there, or you could just simply copy and paste it into Excalidraw. And then once you've got it, so then you right click and you want to choose Insert Any File, and then just go have a look for the image that you're looking for. So in this case, I'm going to use my brain vector image. So that imports my vector, and then I can click and drag to resize it. So now I have a picture of a brain. So let's go get my next image. So I'll right click, insert any file, and I'm going to put a number block icon in here. Then I just click holding down the Alt key to drag and resize without skewing the image. So now I have a nice little title for this best idea note, a mind for numbers. I can hold Control and use the mouse wheel to scroll out, and you can see the percentage down here. Then I want to put a picture of the book inside there. I'll just do a search for mind for numbers book cover and hold down the Alt key, click and drag. And now I have a nice little A Mind for Numbers by Barbara Oakley with the book cover and a nice image up the top there. Now, because it's about learning, there's a learning curve. I think the next image might be worth putting a learning curve. So we'll right click, select any file. I'm going to type in learning. And I'll go with this learning curve icon. Once again, hold down Alt and left click and drag. This may be different on a Macintosh. Then I want to put some books in there. So we'll put some books in there as well. And Alt, click and drag. And I'm just going to copy this one and paste it and go underneath there. And then we want to take some of our information in our note here. So let's have a look. So the title here is When Do You Really Stop Learning? So let's start with that one. And we'll just copy that and paste it. And then we're going to put some more information in there. So we'll take this one here. So are you a lifelong learner? Let's put our next point. So we've got, if not, I suggest that you adopt that alter ego. So we'll translate that to adopt this alter ego. Then we've got one here that says learning how to learn is perhaps the most important thing that you can learn. Learning how to learn is an important skill. So then here it says the concepts in this book will make learning easy over our entire lifetime. We've also got down here, this book is filled with principles, not tactics. So let's write concepts and principles to make learning easy. Might give learning a capital L. And there's also a note here that says our entire lifetime. So let's put in these will last you a lifetime. So there we have a quick snapshot of the idea. We could also go and put a summary points here as well if we'd like. So this book emphasizes that anyone can improve in math and science through effective learning strategies. And then there's 8 strategies that are talked about in the book. So we could put those around this visual image if we wanted to as our summary. I'm just going to stick with that for now. And I might just go put a little border around it. So I'm just clicking and dragging after selecting number 2. So now I have my visual idea. So let's just go back into my note here, and I'm just going to jump into source mode. I'm going to come down under reflection. I'm going to put an exclamation mark, then 2 double square brackets. Now, because I haven't renamed this file, it's this one here. So I'll select that one, but I want to go rename it here. So I'll use my little commander shortcut here, rename file. I'm just going to say Excalidraw in mind for numbers, hit save on that, and it's going to auto update on my note here. So then I can jump back into source mode or hit my shortcut, which I've set up as Control E. And then now I have my Excalidraw image in there. I might want to just center this a bit more. And if you want to update, you just click over here. Just want to make it a little bit larger as well. So I'll go up line, then I might put a width of 700. So that's looking a lot better. Now, of course, you could change the color. If you didn't want black, you could make it white, or you could make it a custom color by choosing your colors down here in the color palette. So you could make it a blue line, or you could make it a green. I like to keep it just pretty simple. You could also change your background if you wanted to change your background color. I'm just going to keep it quite basic for now. I might also move this across a little bit just to center it. There we go. All right, so I'm happy with that. So I'll close my Excalidraw drawing. And then now I have a quick visual representation of a mind for numbers without having to read my notes down here. And I could also just pick up some more points, like what if you could learn 10% faster, compounded over the next 50 years. So I could really add more to that if I wanted to, but I'm happy with that as a starting point. Let's go back and let's look at our next one, which is climbing. Here we have our best idea, climbing. We have a quote, then we have a few points here. So there are times when we need to rest, which is our defuse mode. And there's times where we need to lug ourselves up the mountain, which is our focus mode. Then there's a little point about how are we keeping the balance between focusing on what we're doing versus resting in diffuse mode. So most of the time when I'm struggling for an idea for a new video for the channel, I retreat back into diffuse mode, which is usually for me going for a walk, doing some exercise, practicing self-care such as meditation and yoga, or also just getting a good night's rest. So that's my diffuse mode, and that allows me to become more focused when I need to start getting things done and stop procrastinating. Let's build this one out now. So we'll come over to create a new drawing again. We're going to click and drag over to the right hand side. We might rename it to start with this time. So I always like to start with Excalidraw so I know what it is, even though it ends the name with Excalidraw. It's just what I tend to do to make it easily identifiable in my vault. Then I'm going to call this one Learning is Like Climbing. I'm going to start with this one here, which is the title under reflection. So learning is like climbing a mountain. So that's going to be our starting point. So I think then someone hiking up a mountain would work well for this one. So I'm just going to do a search for a hiking icon, PNG image, and then I'll hold down Alt, left click and drag. I'm just going to put that one at the start there. Then I think because it's about learning, we'll put some books there. So let's right click and go find some books. So there's our books. So we'll put our books here and then we'll make this one a little bit bigger. And that's almost like you're climbing the mountain of knowledge to learn more and you're putting in the work so that you can learn something new. So that's what we're doing with that one. So then we'll just zoom out a little bit to give ourselves a little bit more space. And I'm just holding down Control and using the middle mouse wheel to do so. So then I want to make a note about diffuse mode. So we'll use this title here and I'm just going to grab my little font there and say there's times we need to rest, and I think I'll copy and paste that, and then below that I'm going to put diffuse mode in brackets, make that a little bit bigger. So now I have my first title there. So I think resting, I always think of maybe like a herbal tea. So let's insert any file. I'm going to go find a herbal tea icon, hold down Alt, left click and drag. Now what you can do is you can hold down Shift, left click, right click, and group the selection. And that's just going to make it a little bit easier to move things around. So there I have my first point. And then I want to put these points down there. So let's have a look. So diffuse mode is taking your mind off what you're currently studying, letting the subconscious mind connect the dots. It involves things like going for a walk, taking a nap, having a shower. And do we ever wonder why we get our best ideas in the shower? And this is why. Okay, so let's go to our first point. First thing we need to do is we need to distract ourselves. We need to let our subconscious minds connect the dots. Go for a walk, take a nap, have a shower are examples, and the best ideas come at this time. So let's put a note there. The best ideas come during this time. Then I think what we'll do is we'll center align that. So that just gives us our first 4 points here underneath. Now we could add some more images here of the subconscious mind or going for a walk or a little light bulb for our ideas, but I'll just keep it quite simple for now. So let's do our next one. In times where we need to lug ourselves up the mountain. Okay, so what we'll do is I'm just going to actually copy this. So I'll hold down Alt, left click and drag. That's going to copy that. And then I might right click ungroup and then I'm going to edit. So it'll be there are times we need to lug ourselves up the mountain. And then we'll change this one to focus mode. I think because we're in focus mode, I'm let's do a rock climber. So we'll right click, insert any file, going to select rock climbing, and then I'll hold down Alt, left click and drag to make it smaller. Probably want to make it almost the same size as the T here, and we might just drag to give ourselves a bit more space. So I'm quite happy with that one. So hold down Control, zoom out, and then we'll right click, group the selection. So now we have our focus mode. So let's just copy this and paste it across. And then we're going to grab our information here. So this is where we need to do the hard work of learning, studying, reading, listening, or watching material on a subject of choice. Time to do the hard work, learning, studying, reading, listening. Find points to make connections with our learning material. Okay, so now we have our 2 modes for learning. The next one is how do we keep the balance? So let's go create that one. I might just copy this one, paste it down in the middle here. I'm just going to write how do we keep the balance. So I think like scales might work well here. So if we right click, insert any file, I'm going to do a search for a scale icon. I'm just going to hold Alt, left click and drag. Stick that one there. So let's grab some of the points here. So schedule breaks for diffuse mode. So that can be our first one. So the next one will be taking walks, meditating, or just lying down can lead to some serious connections being made in our mind. So we'll just shorten that to take a walk, meditate, allow connections to be made. Then we've got one here that says hard work is necessary. So let's take that one. Hard work is necessary. I might just add always necessary. So then we have a note here that says just knowing that there are 2 different modes gives us something. It allows us to focus harder for shorter periods of time. So I think underneath that we can put this allows for harder focus for shorter periods of time. And then we'll end off knowing we can take a nap after a couple of hours of studying does wonders for our focus. So we'll shorten that one as well. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that one. So let's just go frame it now. So we'll just select our square. Now we have our framed idea for learning is like climbing a mountain. So let's go back into this one. We'll come down to reflection. Just going to put exclamation mark and select the drawing I just created. Straight line, make it a width of 600 again. I can put that in reading mode. So there we have a reflection of the best idea climbing. So let's close our drawing. So I probably want to make that a little bit bigger. So I'm just going to make it 800. Now I have a quick snapshot of that idea. I could split these into 4 separate images if I wanted to. So I could come back into my Excalidraw, select my first group, and group that, group my second group. This one is already grouped. Group my 4th group by right-clicking group selection. Then I'll select my first one here, right-click, copy link for selected elements. And I'm just going to select group. That is going to copy the link to my clipboard. So I'll come back here, and then just above the original image, I'll just Control V. Then I'm going to preview. So now I just have this element here. Learning is like climbing a mountain. And if I wanted to resize that as well, then I can put a little straight line with the resize amount. So I could also do it like that if I wanted to. And if you wanted to match your background to match your Obsidian page, you could also do that too. So that's another option. I'll just keep it like this for now, and I'll show you why at the end of the video. So we'll go back and we're now going to look at our next best idea, which is Juggler storage. So we'll create a new drawing. We'll click and drag it to the right to give ourselves a little bit more space. Now we'll start off with the title for this one. So we'll take this title here, 2 primary components of memory, select our text tool. Now because that title is quite long, we'll just make it over 2 lines, then we'll center align it, make it a little bit bigger. So it's related to the mind. So let's put our brain back in there. We'll hold Alt, click and drag to make it a bit smaller. Then I'm just going to put a little border around that one. Okay, so we've got the first one here, which is the juggler. So let's go create the juggler. We don't want our asterisk. Make that a little bit bigger. So now we have our juggler. Make that a little bit smaller. And we're just going to Control C, Control V. And this one will be our storage facility. This time I think we'll do an arrow from here down to here. We'll also do another arrow here to here. So this is going to tell us the two primary components of memory are the juggler as well as the storage facility. So let's go get a juggler image. I'll have a look in my Vault and get my juggler icon. Hold Alt, left click and drag. We'll stick that over to the left there. Storage facility, we'll probably use something to do with storage. So let's have a look here. Don't want to use that one. That one looks better. Then I might put a picture of a warehouse in there as well. Okay, so now let's list out what the juggler is for. So this is for short-term memory. So the juggler is in charge of keeping all the stuff we're working on in the air while you're working on it. And it's really helpful because not everything we learn needs to be shipped to the storage facility here. Let's put some points in. And what I think we'll do is we'll just copy paste that one. Then we'll do the second line here. Keep stuff in the air whilst you're working. I think we'll do that over 2 lines like that. And on the third point, just copy not everything we learn needs to be shipped to the storage facility. Okay, that's kind of working like that. All right, so now we've got our next point here. So the storage facility is for long-term memory. So I might actually just select these 3, copy and paste those across there. We'll just change this one to long-term memory. The next one is all things we need to remember. And we've got a point here. Sometimes it can get lost in the giant warehouse if we're not careful. So we'll make the third one gets lost in the warehouse if you're not careful. So we've got our 3 points for the storage facility. So then we've got a highlighted line here, which says the juggler only has one job, and that is knowing what information is important and what isn't important. So we need to train the juggler. So we need to train the juggler to sort what's important and what's not important. So I think what we'll do is we'll put an arrow, and we're going to put a circle down here. We'll just copy this one, put this one down here. I think that's the 2 most important points about the juggler. So let's put a direction sign icon in. Just hold down Alt, make it a little bit smaller. Then let's put an arrow underneath here, and we'll put another circle there. And this is going to be about the storage facility. So the number way to light up your warehouse is recall. So this is when we shut the book, stop the video, leave the class, and ask our mind to recall what we have learnt. So doing this directly after we learn something will place it in the storage facility, and doing this multiple times after learning something will make sure the path to that file is well lit. So let's go start with this one. Best method is recall. Ask your mind, what have I learned? And the final one was to do this directly after learning something. Happy with those 3 points there. We'll just make that a little bit bigger. So we'll just put that one down there just to signify the information. I think I'm happy with that one. So let's frame that one. Now, if you didn't want the white line appearing on your note, you could always make it black, but I'll show you why I'm using white later in the video, or when we need to rename this one. So Excalidraw Juggler Storage, and then we'll place that into our note, make that one 700. And we'll close this one. So now we have our Juggler Storage visual image, which we can quickly just have a look at instead of going down and reading our notes here. All right, so let's have a look at the next one, which is Procrastination. So bring up our Excalidraw, give ourselves a little bit more space. And we'll start by renaming this one. It's going to say Excalidraw Procrastination. Start with our title. So we'll start down here. What's the worst habit you can have? So let's start with that. I'm just going to center align that one. So what's the worst habit you can have? Well, it's procrastination, and we all experience it. Let's go put that in quotations. Why is procrastination bad? Because it ruins your chances of learning and growing. That's why procrastination is so bad. Now, I think we should insert an image above that. So let's put an unhappy person here procrastinating in front of the computer, not doing what we should be doing, thinking about what we should be doing, but not actually doing it. How can we overcome procrastination? That should be our next one. So let's take this title here. Then we'll take this title. How can we overcome procrastination? ? Let's have a look how we can overcome it. Once we start procrastinating, it often leads to more procrastination. And this can be like an addiction because it makes us feel good in the moment, but long term, it's destructive. We can pile things to do, and our resistance to do them makes them grow even higher. The number one tip to overcome procrastination is to just get started. But that is easier said than done because we need to get past the dread of actually doing the task. But this makes the task much easier. So we have a few steps on how we can overcome procrastination. The first one is to notice ourselves procrastinating. And then we need to commit to work for 2 minutes. And often after these 2 minutes, we'll notice it wasn't as bad as we thought. We can put that here. So let's put a little box here and we'll take this one, put this one down here. Let's put it like step 1 to overcome is to notice yourself procrastinating. And I think this one's quite important. So what's step 2? Step 2 is to commit to the work for 2 minutes. Step 3, after 2 minutes, you will notice it wasn't as bad as you thought it would be. So happy with that. I might just left align that one to make it a little bit easy to read. Line that one up there. That's how we overcome procrastination. Now I think we can put some more points here. So let's have a look here. I'll copy this one down here. I'll just space it out a little bit. I think we could probably improve by just adding a few more visual images. Let's put some books here. Let's put a little garden here, which is our learning growing. I think a notice icon might be good for noticing our procrastination. Then I think because we're working on that, we'll put a little workman image there. And then the end result is going to be us being more happy. So let's put a little happy down there. So I'm quite happy with that. So let's frame that one, place that one into our note. I'll make this one 100. Now we have our quick reflection on procrastination. Gives me my information down here in a nice visual way. So let's go to our next one, which is zombies. So we'll start with our reflection. How do we stop zombies from eating our brain? Let's go find a zombie. This guy looks pretty good. His brain has been eaten. What eats our brain? Our devices or social media, being addicted to our phones, doom scrolling, passive consumption. That's our zombie eating our brain. What does Barbara say? So she said the first thing we should do in the morning is shut off our phone. By not looking at our phone right away, then we can stop the dopamine that we get from looking at our phone first thing in the morning. And then we can use that 1 to 2 hours to do our deep work before we look at our emails, social media, or any text messages. So that is technique number 1. So let's copy that one. We'll copy this, shut off your phone, go exclamation mark. And I might just put below that. Otherwise, the dopamine it gives you will take control, which is another way of saying the zombies are eating our brain. That is concept number 1. All right, so let's go make it a little bit more visually pleasing, almost like a stop sign. And I think it might be nice to put a post-it of what we need to do for the day. Could even be a to-do list. Okay. So that's number 1. What's number 2? So I think when you're trying to beat any bad habit, you should reward yourself. So let's make that number 2. So our reward is to do 10 minutes of work first thing in the morning instead of zombies. And I think also a cup of coffee works well as well. So that could be our reward. So that is going to make us more satisfied. So let's go with satisfaction. Then we also will have more chance of success. So let's put a success in there. So I think that works well. Frame that one. We'll throw that one over here. Might rename that one as well. Excalidraw, maybe stop zombies. So now we have our zombies best idea, how to stop zombies from eating our brain. We shut our phone. This stops us depleting our dopamine, and we can put that towards 10 minutes of work first thing in the morning, and also maybe a cup of coffee once we've done that work. Let's see, next one is process. So we'll set up our canvas. So this one I'm just going to start with the word process, I think. Let's keep this one pretty simple. So process. So want to get nothing done, focus on the outcome. So that could be our first one. And then I think what we'll do is we'll go focus in capitals, then outcome in capitals. And we'll just make that 2 lines. There we go. Want to get nothing done, focus on the outcome. So finishing a project, finishing a video, finishing reading a book. Want to get nothing done, focus on the outcome. So don't do that. Okay, so the outcome is the end goal. It's the finished product. It's the YouTube video, the completed book, or the dream house. But the outcome is the result of the process, not the other way around. So when we focus too much on the outcome, this can be paralyzing. It can lead to fear, overwhelm, and procrastination. So instead, we should focus on the process. And what does this look like? So for me, it means opening Obsidian and taking notes, working on a new idea for a video, or solving a problem at work. So it doesn't really mean how many books I've read, or stressing over my subscriber counts or video views, or setting unrealistic goals. So it's really about shifting the focus to the process. And there you will find yourself. You'll be more productive and less stressed. What we can do is put the next one. The outcome is the result of a process, not the other way around. So I like that bit there. So let's copy this one down, and we'll copy that one. And I might just add to it. And outcome is the result of the process, not the other way around. Okay, I like that. So I think that is a tick for us. So let's give that one a tick. Yep, happy with that. Whenever I think processes, I kind of think systems as well. So let's go put engineering icon in there, make that a bit smaller. Might actually send it to the back, then make the opacity quite low so it's kind of showing. There we go. I like that. You can still read the text. Copy, paste down. Focusing too much on the outcome can be paralyzing. So let's do that one. Take these stars out. Too much on the outcome can be paralyzing. I might just put a cross there again. So focusing too much on the outcome can be paralyzing. So let's end on the punchline, which is focus on the process. Then I think we'll put a eye icon to signify focus. And I think we'll put a direction sign again, but this time we'll just flip it around. Pretty happy with that one. So let's frame that. Now that's going to remember my transparency. So we'll just turn that back up again. Drop that one down here. 700. Also need to rename it. Okay, so now I have my best idea, focus on the process, not the outcome. Let's have a look at my next best idea, which is tomatoes. So inside tomatoes, I have a little quote. The Pomodoro is a technique that's been developed to help you focus your attention over a short period of time. Pomodoro is Italian for tomato, and it was originally developed as a time management system in the 1980s by using a tomato-shaped timer. So we start the timer for 20 minutes. Once the timer starts ticking, we're on the clock. So this is our time to focus. And then we get a 5-minute break at the end of each of these timers. I've got a little image here highlighting how the technique works. So you start with your first 25 minutes, take a short break, then do your next 25 minutes, and so on until you get to the end, and then you take a 15 to 30 minute break. So we're going to create a Excalidraw drawing for this, or you could just keep this image if you wanted to. It's up to you. Let's go create it in Excalidraw. So we'll start with our text. Okay, so we'll scroll down, we'll have a look, and we're just going to make it pretty similar to how it is here. So let's insert, grab our egg timer, just make that a little smaller by holding Alt, clicking and dragging, and then I'm going to hold the Alt key once I'm happy with the size. So we need a few there. So there's, and we'll add our to-do list in the middle. Just go with the poster icon instead of the egg timer, and we'll put our start here, short break minutes. Just make that one a little bit smaller. Then I might put 25 minutes on the egg timer there, just so we know how long they are. Put our little legend down the bottom there. So now we really only have to do our arrows. So we'll do our arrow here. Just do it pretty rough to start with. We can fix it up later. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. So let's go do that. And we might as well rename it as well. Okay, there we go. So that looks pretty similar to that, but it's our own little drawing. Okay, so we've come to the last one now, which is explain like I'm 5. So let's bring up our drawing, take it to the right, move it across. So ELI5 is an acronym for explain like I'm 5. So this method transforms complex information into simple, understandable explanations that anyone can comprehend. So I think we'll just start off with this one here. I'll just put that one in brackets, and underneath that we'll put what it stands for. Let's put a picture of a boy in there. So I've got one in my vault already. Then we want to put this section here. So grab our text tool. Then I think we'll just put the benefits below that, and that can be it for that one. So first benefit is enhances understanding. Second benefit is improves communication. Can be used on broad applications. It definitely has cognitive benefits because it aligns with the natural learning process. The final one is community engagement. So collaborative learning, knowledge sharing. Okay, I think we'll keep that one pretty simple as if we're explaining it to a 5-year-old. Okay, so let's throw that one in there. It's probably a little bit too big. Make it 600. There we go. All right, so we'll rename that one. So now we have all our visualized ideas. So I think now we'll just put them all together so that we have one best idea source to link to. And we could also put a link here as well once we've done that. So let's just go into our drawing. Just going to go insert any file. Actually, I might just pull open the side pane here and come into my Spaces Excalidraw. And we're going to start with a mine for numbers. So that's going to be our first one. So Excalidraw, a mine for numbers. Then we want to put in climbing after that. So we'll rename this file as well to a mine for numbers best ideas. And we could do the prefix Excalidraw as well. So now we know what we're working on. All right, so let's go insert any file, put our next one, which was Juggler storage. What else do we create? Focus on the process. Learning is like climbing. And I think what we'll do is we'll just kind of make some space here. So that one can go there, that one can go there, there. Let's put our stop zombies in. That one can go here. We need to add procrastination. Procrastination. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've also got tomatoes, which is the Pomodoro technique. Explain like I'm 5. Alrighty, so to make it a little bit easier, we'll go a mind for numbers. Just hide this one. So that's our first one. Second one, climbing. Our third best idea, juggler storage. Now we might need a little bit more room here. So just go select these, move them down a bit. Same with these ones, move those ones down. Got our fourth one. So there we have our 8 best ideas from a mind for numbers. We have them all in here. We could also put that in here if we wanted to, or we could put a link there, best ideas. Then we have a link. We can easily just pull out all the best ideas from the book by zooming in, having a quick read, moving across, having a quick read of that one. Same for this one, that one, and so on. So that's a quick way to just flush out some best ideas from a book, make some visual cues to quickly refer to, just to recall what you've learned from the book. I hope this video has provided you with valuable insights into visually organizing your ideas in Obsidian. By drawing out ideas and concepts, you can make your notes more visually appealing, and this helps with recall and memory. If you found this content helpful, please share it with someone who might benefit. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.